Hello and welcome, adventurers, LARPers, and Ren Fair enthusiasts. I am St. Godric, and today we are rating the classes of Amtgard after the 2022 updates. So a few months ago, I did a tier list, a ranking list of all the classes in Amtgard, and we are going to be redoing that tier list today after the changes that just went through for the 2022 Circle of Monarchs meeting. So let's go ahead and jump over to our tier list from last time. Now, I want to say I am ranking these things on a few different things. These classes are being ranked based on how good they are for your average player, not for just the best of the best, right? In so many comments in my last one and on different social media things. I go, well, Archer's so good. If you did, I'm a Paragon and Archer's so great. Yes, right. A very, very good player who is a top tier, top in your kingdom player might be able to take a D tier class and make it B or A tier. What we're ranking here is the power of the class for the average player. When I get someone on my team and I'm looking around before the game starts and I'm looking at my team and I see somebody in a monk sash, what goes through my mind? This is my tier ranking. If they're a warlord playing monk, obviously that's going to be very different than average, 3-year, 2-year Amtgarder playing monk. So I am ranking these things on the average. Please keep that in mind. I understand you might be the best archer to ever play Amtgard. That's not what I'm rating. I'm rating the average archer. Make sense? Cool. Let's get to it. So here was my tier list before all of the updates. I will say, looking back on this, I was a little bit wrong with Pally. Pally should have been probably here, but you live and learn. So Druid, we'll start back up here at the top. Druid got buffs. Let me say that again. Druids got buffs. Flabbergasted. I'll just leave it at that. No idea why. Druid is still a very clear S in my book. Warriors, I don't think got many changes. They benefit from the Javi updates, which are good. Warrior still a second best class in the game for me. Gonna sit right here at A. Wizard got, I think, like one tiny little buff. It's fine. It's about where I think it should be. Healers got a decent buff. A lot of their spells got the cost dropped lower, which is good for them, is a buff for them. I don't think it bumps them up to S tier at all, but it definitely solidifies them in A tier and might make them more useful than Wizard. Probably not, but maybe. So going down to Bard, we're gonna save Bard. We'll come back to Bard and Assassin because these two are both kind of similar in the same boat. We'll do Barbarian next. Barbarian got some really nice buffs, so a really good quality of life thing. They get an extra fight after death now. A lot of their abilities got charges. They benefit from the javelin changes. Like, they got a lot of buffs. But I think the problem is I already was pretty high on Barbar anyway. I thought Barbars were really good, especially for new players, for your average just jumping in and playing Amtgarder. But I don't think that these buffs are enough to bump it to A. I would probably bump it to the top of B tier, B plus, right, if we were doing that. But I don't think these buffs bump it up into the A class for me, at least not yet. Down here, we have Paladin and AntiPaladin. So we'll start with the Anti-Pally. They got rid of Undead Minion and got Flameblade. That automatically bumps them up to B because they are a useful class. Then a lot of their stuff got per life charges and a bunch of different things like that. Their all got changed to Terror, which is pretty good. For me, I could be wrong on this one. I'm willing to be wrong. This one might deserve A tier. I think I'm going to put it at the top of B though. I think that it could be an A tier, and I could see arguments for that, and I would be willing to be wrong on that one. I think it goes in B tier though. Then we have Paladin. Paladin goes in A for me. Paladin was already creeping up my list the more and more that I played it. I really like the immunities. They came in and they made the Paladins extend immunities, not just being able to shrug off one spell, but to be permanent immunities for that life, which is huge. They also then came in and made heal, greater heal, and res, greater res, which are fantastic. Not only are they shorter spells to cast, but with the advent of more anti-paladins and barbarians, you're going to see a lot more cursed players, and heal or greater res and greater heal can circumvent the cursed state. And so with all of that, I think Pally is really good. Probably there, maybe there, maybe there. We'll leave it there for now. It is definitely A tier. It is definitely good. Archer remains in C class or C tier to me. It got a slight buff. They can mend their own bows. Cool. I still am not concerned at all about 99.9% of archers in our game. Monk got a slight buff. They are able to counter assassins a little bit now. I think that they get slightly up above C tier now. Maybe, I don't think so, actually. No, I think they stay in D. They might just go above Scout. Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to put them. They are able to banish now. Monks still are not playable, in my opinion. If you want to play a monk, just play a Pally. They get very, very similar. You get Pro Mag over here for Pally. You get armor. You can still use your pole. You can still use flow. You get heal. You get resurrect. The only thing monks really get is spellball block and sanctuary. So 2 niche, useful spells. I don't know. I think Monk needs a lot more help than this. And Scout didn't. They got a little bit of a buff, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, but not enough to bump them up at all. So let's go back to these two now. Assassin, I think, stays in B tier. It did not receive any direct nerfs, but it now doesn't have as much of a place because Anti-Pally is going to be bumped up. Anti-Pally gets poison. They are able to apply curse to different people. The Anti-Paladin and Assassin share very much of the same spot on the field. Paladin will win in most of those encounters, though, because they get 4 points of armor where Assassins get less than that. The thing is, Assassins still have all of their get out of jail free cards. I've been talking to a few Assassin mains, and they're freaking out about this, that Assassin no longer has a place, and I disagree. They can use bows, super helpful. They can use all their throwies, super helpful, and then they still have their blink and their teleport and all of those things. So I think that the role of the Assassin is going to shift, not necessarily from being the apply poison to everybody and curse everybody type of role. I think the Anti-Pally does that better, but they are still a very useful, scrappy, go in, disrupt, and then get out of jail free type of class. I think that's going to continue to be their role, and they're going to be really good at that. Bard, though, I think drops down. Bard is definitely better than Archer. Don't get me wrong on that. Still, Archer's like C-. Bard is C+. Bard didn't get any direct nerfs, but with the presence of all of these other classes getting buffed, Bard just doesn't necessarily really have a place anymore. The extend immunities from Pally were already going, making it really hard for bards to play. And then now that got buffed, we had, Pally is a good class for new players to pick up, especially at our park. And so we'll be playing games, we'll have 3 or 4 Pallies on a team of 5. And then the bard on the other team just can't do anything. Air, one of the best bards that I've played with, has talked about this quite a bit. We're actually going to have her on for a show here where we're going to do a tier list like this, but specifically for Phoenix League. So keep an eye out for that. But she was talking about how just there's so much now that the bard has to interact with, but they can't do it, right? They just don't have the spell list to do it. Or if they do, they have to blow such large spells to be able to do it. So Bard didn't directly get a nerf, but a lot of the classes around it got buffs. And so because of that, Bard gets dropped to C tier even more clearly now than what it was before, the worst casting class in the game, in my opinion. Let me look over this one more time. We've got Druid and S, good with that. Warrior, Wizard, Pally, Healer. I think I'm good with all of those. Again, this one, Anti-Pally, could very easily go here, but I'm going to leave it here for now. Barbars, Assassins in B, Bards and Archers in C, and then D we have Monk and Scout. I'm pretty comfortable with that one. I think this is going to be my list going forward. So I want to know what you think. Please, in the comments down below, if you agree or disagree, you think something should be higher or lower, let me know. Just know I will make fun of you if you go, well, monks are way better because I'm a pair. I'll make fun of you for that one. Monks just aren't good. But if you have real reasons other than individual skill reasons, please post those down in the comments. I would love to be able to interact with the community a little bit. And if I'm wrong on something, I'm more than willing to be wrong, admit that I'm wrong, come back in and adjust. If you like this content, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button and check out the links down below. I have started a Patreon account, got 3 different tiers there. Pretty excited for what we're going to be doing in that. So if this video was something useful to you, you want to share this around to new players, please consider hitting that like, subscribe, and checking out the Patreon. It really does help out the channel. With all of that out of the way, my name is St. Godric. Peace, and we'll see you next time.